All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the 13th Dimensions, Season 6, Episode 12. 120 episodes. Um, Tonight, we have a special guest. He has been on this show before, like three or four times, I think. And we are going to be talking about something I've been interested in some time. Finally, it was the right time to bring him on here to talk about a series of in person events that he does. Great Bakun, welcome back to the 13th Dimension.
Hi, Jeremy. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm okay. I'm all right. Thank you very much.
So, how are things going in Gregland?
They're fine. It's just been, as I think, as we all are, who are doing like different paranormal things. I think we're all just kind of getting back to it after a little bit of a holiday break, and my focus has been on the show, my show, and we, like you had alluded to, we do a number of outside events. So it's been a lot, and as you know, I'm sure, a big part of it has been like the social media aspect of it, which doesn't ever seem to go away. It never seems to stop. So yeah, no, but it's been good.
That is good. I know that your radio show has been doing pretty well. Um, I try to catch it when I can. It's just that with the busy schedule that I have, and as tired as I've been getting with everything, I half the time I'm in bed by the time your show starts. But when I do catch it, I try to share it out when I can.
First of all, I see that, and I thank you for that. And I get people who often are like, I wish I could watch it more. I don't watch it as much as I think I should, or listen to it as much as I think. It's a big ask. I'm on 5 nights a week, so it's a big ask for anyone to be, even once a week. I think it's a big ask. So anyone who kind of dips in and dips out I'm just very happy with that.
Yeah, well, your show has proven to be successful. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't even be on, right?
Yeah, I mean that's just it. I mean, I'm very proud of it. I obviously have people that help me with it a little bit, and as you know, with the shows that you do, you get the people who are really about who believe in what you're doing, and they want to take part in that and stuff as well. So that's the main thing. You get people who are on board with you, and you can do a lot with that.
Yeah, it's so nice to be able to have those loyal followers. Because I know all of the shows on the network have that. Not everybody watches every show, and holy cow, that's 20 shows a week.
Yeah, yeah, it
Wow.
is.
Yeah. So, but tonight I want to talk about your Ghost Stories and Beyond series. I know that you have been running it for some time now.
Yeah.
Um, what was the initial spark that started the whole thing?
So Ghost Stories and Beyond is actually is put on by myself and Char Savoy. And Char has been a very good friend and gifted medium, gifted paranormal investigator. She's been doing it for many, many, many years, and and it actually all starts with her. Ghost Stories starts with her because she was doing it with a previous team that she was a part of in Anoka, Minnesota, and that had gone away for a number of years doing that. But it was pretty popular when they did it. And she one day was just like, because we were doing classes together, and she is just like, we're sitting outside of Billy's where Ghost Stories takes place, and we're having some drinks, and she's just like, "Would you be interested if we started this up?" Based on what she had originally done, and I'm like, yeah, sounds great. And we changed it a little bit, so it wasn't a direct copy of what she had done previously, and that's why we called it Ghost Stories and Beyond, because I don't think her the ones that she had done with her team. brought in as many like special guests and stuff, and we've been doing that more and more, bringing people in and having, and then when we don't have people come in to talk about some subject, or we have a specialized subject, then we might also do like, you share your stories or whatever. But even last week, when this past Wednesday, actually on the 4th, we did pets in the afterlife. So even if it's a topic that we have, people could still share their ghost stories, but we're trying to keep those ghost stories kind of on topic as well.
I know sometimes that's not always the easiest thing to do. That's
No.
like the hardest job for any host to do.
It is. I mean, and the thing is too. I remember we did one ghost stories, and this is going to be our 4th year of doing ghost stories and beyond. And we did one, and I can't remember exactly what it was about, but I both Shar and I thought it was really good. It was really great interaction, got people to really think about stuff and whatever. And then I got a text from somebody afterwards saying, you took the conversation in a way, because I wanted to bring up something and my stuff wouldn't have worked in the conversation, and I don't remember if she was joking about it or upset, but it was like kind of like, yeah, you can't keep everyone happy, and it's hard to keep people on topic because people do want to share their stories. People want to people want to I think, Jeremy, there's a couple of things they want to do. They either want to share their story, or they want to one up your story, or they want to show that they're, validate that they get the same sort of interactions that the person talking does. I think that's a huge part of it for a lot of people, that they, and not everybody, don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of people want to kind of be like, that sounds cool what you're getting, but I get it too. I get it too. And so, you know, and that's kind of what Ghost Stories is about. Shar and I will tell our stories, but we'll tell our stories if no one else has one. It's not about us sharing our stories per se. It's more about let's have a subject, let's talk about it. We want to hear what you have to say, but if you don't have anything, then we're going to have to talk, and we can talk quite a bit. We have a lot of experiences, so
Yeah.
share it now, or else you're going to hear us for the rest of the night.
So, just real quick, how is Shaw doing?
Shar is good. Shar has been very busy with working on the Maria Shah events that are about 3-4 times a year. The next one is coming up on February 21st at the Bloomington Airport Hotel. And the thing about that is that, she's working on these events. We're working on some other events that we're going to do this year that is going to be pretty cool, at some pretty cool locations, and we're really excited about it. But obviously, we're still working out details. But we're hoping to get start sharing some information with people. We do this monthly paranormal investigation the second Thursday of every month. So our next one is going to be next Thursday, the 12th, where we're going to have this live public paranormal investigation that people can come out to at a haunted location in Anoka. And then on top of all that, we do a class, a 6 weeks class on paranormal investigation. And then on top of that, she has all of her stuff that she has going on. And if you go to the events page on her website, charvinity.com, you're gonna be like, where do you sleep? What at what time in this day do you sleep, based on everything you have going on? So she's keeping very busy with a lot of really good, and they're not just like throwaway classes. These are really insightful things that are meant to really help people, and that's really exciting. I love being a part, even tangentially, about with somebody who really thinks and then creates curriculum based on what people need. So that's really fun to see.
And there's a link to Shaw's website if
It's great.
anybody wants to go to it and check out those things, upcoming events and classes. Uh,
Yeah. I think they're almost all online, if I'm not mistaken. I will say so when you go check out her calendar. But yeah, no, it's very impressive what she's able to do.
yeah, I see a whole bunch of stuff on here.
Right? You're like, and wow.
And I get it. Some of us, we are so incredibly busy where it's like we don't have time to sleep. So I
No,
get that.
no,
Um,
no.
I, and I'm pretty sure that's the same for you.
Oh yeah. No, it is, and the thing is, you and I, we love the paranormal. It's our lives, but we also have these other things that are very important to us. I know wrestling and bowling is important to you. British television is important to me, and so for myself, I have a whole sideline of videos and stuff I make for British television, and that takes up a lot of time. And the paranormal, and I'm not complaining when I say this either, but paranormal takes up a lot of time as well. So you're right. It's like where do we fit in, where do we fit in sleep and
Right.
a public life or whatever, or just a free time, whatever. And I mean, obviously, I don't have any trouble finding time to eat, but everything else though is, it's just kind of a lot of stuff has taken the back burner over the last couple years for me, and that's fine. I'm enjoying it. I love this.
Yeah, well, speaking of British television, I still look back on the last time you were on the show when we were talking about Doctor Who. I still look at that as one of probably my top 10 episodes I've done in this whole the entirety of 13th Dimension.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot. We talked almost 4 hours that night, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was very cool, and and I just got done doing a Doctor Who convention in the Twin Cities here, where I was one of the main interviewers, and I was interviewing the guests on stage and doing presentations and stuff, and it's just been fun to be able to, after years of kind of being a fan and working through stuff, that you're able to have some of these moments of being able to kind of do your thing, be yourself, and do what you do best. I feel like I'm a decent interviewer, so to be able to be on stage with these people, one of them being Joe Martin, who is the what's called the fugitive doctor on the series, one of the more recent people. I mean, that's a big deal, to be able to talk with her and have a laugh with her and have a good interview. Those things are actually pretty precious to me.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. You mentioned that you do shows on location uh,
Yeah.
every second Thursday, right?
We do a paranormal investigation. It's the second Thursday of every month,
Okay.
and so that's just that literally is like, people come out. It's a 3-hour event. People buy tickets, and we investigate with them. I bring a bunch of different equipment, and we just have fun. We just enjoy. And yeah, it's a great experience, a great location. The people who run the building there, Divine Lights, which is a metaphysical store, is very kind of them to allow us access to those areas so that we can go ahead and have our investigations and stuff. It's really cool.
Okay. Because I'm trying to remember, but I could have sworn that you were on location somewhere last week.
I was. Well, I was last, I think the week before, I was at Council Room, the Doctor Who convention, and then the week before that, I was over in Wabasha at the Anderson House for the Para Fair. And yeah, I tend to take the show out on the road as much as I can. If I'm invited to an event, I'm going to take it with me rather than not do it at all. And it's one of my favorite things is being able to have, like, we had both of those Fridays, we had people in the room with us, and we had about
That's got
15.
to be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we had about 15 to 20 people with us, watching and doing it and taking part, and as you know, just in front of a live audience, people who are interested in what you're doing. And it's not saying that they're fans. I don't want to, they're curious what you're doing. They're going to sit there, they're going to enjoy it. Whether they listen ever again, I could not say, but the fact is that they were in there at that time was really cool. And I love that stuff. And I love that energy. Everyone who does this sort of thing, you have that energy with the crowd of people who are just interested and want to have fun. So those are great.
Because I remember seeing some of those episodes, and it's pretty cool hearing laughter in the background or couple people clapping and things like that. I'm like,
It is.
this is what somebody who is doing something in front of an audience wants to hear.
It is. It is, and that's always the thing is like, in front at the Anderson house, it was like, well, this is a paranormal convention, so hopefully people are in the mood for it. When we did it for Console Room, I wasn't really sure what to expect because you just don't know, and everybody there was just so into it, which was great as well. And I asked at the beginning of the show, I said, "How many of you are skeptics?" And a fair amount actually raised their hand. And it's I don't care if they're skeptics. It doesn't matter. Everyone needs to have skeptics in this field as long as we're all respectful with each other. That's all that matters. So, yeah, I mean, everyone had a good time. We were able to talk, and once again, we talked pets. As it turned out, a nice woman named Sarah came up because I invited people to come up and share some ghost stories, and she shared a story about her one of her animals that passed away. And once again, it was a lot. It was a lot for people. It's amazing what, even if it's not your pet, talking about pets passing away, talking about those stories, how that actually affects everybody else. Once again, even if it's not your own pet per se, you start thinking about the pets that you had and those similar situations you're in, and that's it's very, very emotional.
Oh, I agree. I have only had three dogs in my life, um, but I have always had to give them away because of moving or whatever. So I am one of those few that has never had a pet die on me.
Sure.
So I don't know that emotion, but I do fully understand the emotion of the pet is not just a pet. That pet is your family.
I don't know. I think that you probably have had that emotion. I mean, a loss is a loss, isn't it?
It is a loss, but in my case, it's knowing that my pet is going somewhere still living,
Yeah.
because I can't take him with me.
No, no, I get it.
Yeah. So when yeah, it's a loss in that sense. Um, but the other kind of loss, that's a more devastating loss because the pet is gone.
It certainly, it's a little bit more final, for sure. And but as I have had said many times, I've found that and we're in a field where spirits come and visit us. That my cat who had passed, Linus, back in December of 2024. I mean, he's been back to me and others, not just me and others, probably about a dozen times. And and that's the thing that is pretty incredible about that, is that you have this this animal who you bond with them, and it's tough knowing that he's not here, but at the same time, I've had myself and other people and dreams and all sorts of things come and show me that he has made contact, and that it's a different we're in a 13th dimension. It's a different dimension. It's a very different sort of thing than was, and that relationship has suddenly shifted completely to something different, and something actually, in my mind, more meaningful than what I had with him when he was just my cat and I was just his dad or whatever. So it's a trip. It really is.
I can't believe it's been that long now since Linus has passed.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, it feels like it's only been just a couple of months.
It's yeah, I mean, it's incredible, and I just and I think about him often. I really do, and I have this amazing, wonderful cat that I believe that Linus has put in my direction. That's how I have it, and uh, but yeah, I think about him often. And today I just did a interview with I for my show. I pre-recorded my Monday show with Deborah Blake, who wrote a book called The Little Book of Cat Magic. And during it, I show her a picture of Linus, and her reaction to him actually made me almost lose it because she was so she just loved him the moment that she saw him, and she just saw his beauty and whatnot, and it was just like, yeah, he's something. He was something special, and it was nice to be reminded, even though I knew this. It was nice to be reminded when someone saw him to be like, wow, what an incredible looking cat, just a beautiful rag doll. So yeah, but it goes by, time goes by quickly, doesn't it, Jeremy? Really
It,
fast.
yeah, it really does. It still feels like it. Um, it feels like yesterday that we were just going into 2025, and here we
Yeah.
are already in February of 26. It was a conversation that I was having with somebody not too long ago. Is that the older we get, the faster time seems to go by.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Probably. I
because
think
when
so.
I was a kid, it was like it took so long to get to something,
Yeah.
and now it's here already.
Yeah, I had this. I remember in one of my videos for that I did for Doctor Who, one of my Doctor Who video releases, that I talked about when something happened on PBS, and then when we got new episodes of something else, it felt like it was forever between the two, but in fact, it was really about a year and a half. It was like, oh wow, this is incredible. It's like back then, you're right. It's everything seemed like a decade between each, and now 6 years seem like 4 months ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. The pandemic was just 6 years ago already.
Yeah, yeah. No, it seems like three, maybe, right?
Not even that for me.
Yeah, pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, it's like everything was shut down, and I don't know. It's really weird the way time has on my mind.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but with Linus, I know you had Linus for a long time. How old was he?
I think he was 15. When I got him, he was 8, and I had him for 7 years. So I mean, they thought he was 8 when I got him from his previous owner, Amy, and she when I was talking, she was somebody who we were going to date. It turned out that that wasn't going to be the what we actually thought for each other, and but we remained friends. We remained friends to this day, and she's gone on to get married to this wonderful guy who actually has been on my show a few times. And but when we were talking about it and she offered me Linus, she's like, I think he's like 4 years old, talking about not knowing time. And she pulled out his paperwork because she kept all of his paperwork and stuff. And she's like, oh, he's 8. And I'm like, that's not quite 4 years old. But, it is what it is. I mean, my current pet cat, Puff, she's 12. I got her when she was 12. I just got her back in May, so she's either 13 or going to be 13 here pretty soon. And it becomes down to not how old they are, but the love that they need, I think. And Puff in particular needed the love. And I guess at the end of the day, so did I. And I think that's why Linus put her in front of me, because she's the most affectionate cat I've ever had. And I think there's lessons that can be learned from that. And I think that was the lesson, is to understand and love better. I think love yourself better. I think there is a lesson actually to be learned.
Pets are really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, pets are really good. I still very fondly remember all the conversations that we had where Linus is trying to trip you on the stairs and all of that. He made guest appearances on some of your shows.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Well,
I speak for everybody when I say that your cat was very beloved.
he was, and that was always the thing that I loved about it, because back when I was doing the Spirit Box live sessions on Facebook, and I did them on Things, and I did them on some other networks as well. Linus was always a part of it. Linus was always on screen for it. He was for at least part of it. People would be much happier to see Linus on screen than they were to see me, and and it is what it is. I mean, he's a cute little kitten, and that was the thing, is that people did love him, and that was nice. It felt good to have this cute little animal that everyone was so happy to see. My favorite when we tried to reach out to Lizzie Borden, and she was a big animal lover, and I'm holding Linus. And Brad Webb actually cut this from the video and sent it to me. How I'm holding Linus and have Spirit Box going, and Lisbeth is what she went by, and like Lisbeth, this is Linus, and suddenly Linus just does this, and it's like someone was trying to pet his head, and he didn't want it. And I mean, there's no reason for him to do that. He never does that. I held him that direction, that way, many times, and he does that. And it's just that one of those great things of, like, in a way, I think Linus was a bit of a trigger object. He certainly was a trigger object to me on occasion. But it just that's what he was. That's what he did. And when things got really dark in there, and it did happen occasionally, he was nowhere to be seen. He took off. When you don't see Linus during one of these, you knew that, okay, maybe there's something not right energetically in the room, because if he's not around, look out.
Yeah, well, I've been a firm believer of pets being able to sense the other side and possibly even be able to investigate in some way.
Yeah,
I know there's been quite a few people that have taken their dogs on investigations and used them not only as trigger objects, but to try to seek out something.
yeah, yeah. I believe it. I mean, it just I. For myself, I'm very protective of the cats, and that's not because they're not able to handle. I'm just such a worrywart about stuff
Yeah.
that I always thought, I'm always worried for what could happen to them. That's why I just kind of, like Linus never left the house. He was an indoor cat, and he went outside maybe 3 times in the years I had him, and he seemed fine with it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, just that. It's kind of a real life Scooby Doo situation, isn't it? Where you have this dog on this kind of paranormal thing going on, and it's like, yeah, why not? I mean, they see stuff that we don't. I mean, it's just as simple as that. They pick up stuff that we don't, and I think just in life we need to kind of watch closer what the animals do, because I think it would tell us a lot more of what's really happening around us.
Now, has Puff been exposed to some of the things that you do, like with Linus? He was on a lot of your shows and things like that. Has Puff been exposed in the same manner?
No, actually, it's interesting. I never really thought about it, but no, I haven't. I don't think I've done this. I might have done one. I don't even think I've done that. I think I've done one or so, because I think I introduced her to some folks when I was doing a spirit box session, but I haven't done them on a regular basis in a long time, only because doing a live show, as you do multiple lives a week as well.
Hmm.
It gets to a point. It's like, I need a break, and that's the thing that's tough about it, because the spirit box sessions are the moments of actually sanity for me. Those are the moments of really connecting to what I really got into this for, and that was to talk to spirit. And it just, but we also know, if you're too tired for it, don't do it. You shouldn't be doing investigating if you are in any way not at your best, because you can let anything in, anything can happen. So I've been really trying to figure out a way to make it work. Whether, maybe I would love to be able to at least do once every other week or something. And if I did, then I'd bring Puff in on it. The thing is too, is like, back when I was doing the spirit box sessions at home, this house was haunted. This house really was like, there were spirits often in here. They'd linger, they would move stuff around, they would take part, nothing bad ever. But over
Could that be because you sort of invited them in through the spirit box?
100%. I think that's exactly what it was, because I think that the house was being kind of positioned as that, and they'd hang around a little bit and move on. And since we were doing it, sometimes I was doing it twice a week. That it'd just be a steady stream of them. Then once I stopped, it's kind of like it just they kind of just moved on. They didn't need to stay here for any reason. They were only staying here while kind of moving through and stuff. I believe. So now the house is pretty calm. It's been calm. The only spirit that we get occasionally now is Linus, which more than welcome, of course. And it's been an honor for him to join in, and he comes in the dreams occasionally and stuff like that. So it's been, I'm fine with him being the only one. Quite frankly, I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah. Well, when you talk about doing multiple, I only do 2 or 3 a week, and that's just talking. When you were doing your shows, you had that thing right in front of you, and I would not be able to handle that. Well, because I've talked to you about that before. Why I don't participate in those during actual investigations, but I can't imagine doing that multiple times a week because that would just bug the hell out of me.
Well, I mean, I guess with everything we get used to things, and I never will. I will never think less of someone who cannot handle listening to the white noise of an SB7 because I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But doing it myself for so long, it's like there's reasons why I prefer that over one that you don't get white noise. It's just how we all are kind of programmed a little bit differently. The thing about the SB7 that I noticed through going like doing a Facebook Live or whatnot is that the Facebook. I mean, it almost the Facebook Live mechanism almost like a Faraday effect on it, where you couldn't hear the white noise. I don't think nearly as much as I'm hearing it live, and that's important to say because I listen back to the recordings that I make at the time with my digital recorder and what we recorded through Facebook, and the responses will sound the same, but the white noise in between does not. And so it's not as bad as it could be. I know it's still pretty annoying for some, but I mean, being in person, I think that's where it gets for some just outrageous, and they don't want to do it.
Yeah, for me, it's like I am very sensitive to certain tones and pitches,
Yeah.
and that hits on one of those for me.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's why I stay. I still watch those shows a lot, but I just had the volume down when you had it up because I remember you had some great results on a lot of those shows.
I mean, there's some stuff that I can't believe that we got through. Obviously, the one that I always talk about is the Mary Todd Lincoln response. And that was I still play that at events and stuff that I do talks at, and people are just like, "What on earth?" And but then just getting through people's loved ones, and this is the thing that I do miss about it is getting through somebody who I don't know what their husband who passed away sounds like, but suddenly they'll just hear a voice and maybe even a small sentence or something, and they'll just be like, "That's him." And it's like, if you say so, and I think that's the greatest validation of all. It's not me saying he came through, you heard him, right? It's me being like, you're gonna have to tell me. I have no idea what John sounds like, and you get that. You get people who are just think it's fantastic. And then there was one, and I can't remember her name. It's a long French name that someone asked me to reach out to, and I'm just like, good luck with this. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, and I'm like, can you tell me your name, please? And that name came through, and it's like, sorry, that's not radio. That name is not on radio. The name's never been on radio, I'm pretty sure, in Minnesota. So that was incredible. And it's stuff like that that it energizes me, and it makes me so happy to be able to be a small part in that reconnection between two people who love each other but cannot communicate with each other, at least at the moment, that I can be like some kind of connection to that.
Because I remember on two occasions you tried to reach out to a distant cousin of mine that was a World War One hero.
That's right. Yes.
For whatever reason, it wasn't working out. Um, but
And
I do know that on this, you can never be 100%.
you can't. And I actually feel like that, not that this helps for people who are trying to get, to their loved ones, but I also I think that shows, kind of the realism of it. That I think if we got everybody coming through, I don't think that that's believable at all. I mean, if I was just a general watcher of that sort of thing, and they were picking up something, or even worse, you couldn't hear what they're saying, and the person who's running the box being like, "Oh yeah, you're here. Oh yeah, I can hear. Oh, can't you hear what they're saying to me?" Stuff like that. I think that's suspect. But so to be able, and that's the thing, is like, if you can't hear what they're saying, then it's, I don't think it's worth, celebrating about, basically. And do I think that people listening, asking for a loved one to come through, do I think that they sometimes they might have an over imaginative idea of what they're hearing, and it might not be anything, and they think it's their loved one? Yeah, I do. I think that that is always on the cards. But the thing is, it's, if it brings them happiness, what business is it of mine then? At that point, that belongs to them. And I also wonder, because it's ITC, intertransmental communication, I do wonder if what I hear in my end might not sound like it, but the loved one who is that message is for, once it gets to them, it's a different message. It actually transposes itself into what they were meant to hear. I'm not saying that that's 100% what it is, but I wonder if there's any possibility that that could be the case at all. So I think that there's a lot to be thought about when it comes to stuff like that.
I suppose that would be possible.
Yeah.
Because I have learned a long time ago that absolutely nothing is impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree, and I just feel like that, that, and I'm not saying that that's what happens every single time. It's like it's a theory. It's all it is. It's a theory, because I do get, there is times that I'll hear what comes out of the spirit box, and someone says that's him, and I didn't hear anything that to me sounded like anything at all. And what I'm not going to do, and people could be like, well, that's crap, or they agree with me, or whatever. I'm not going to be like, after they said, oh my gosh, he came through, I'm not going to be like, oh, that was just that was nothing, that was just a burst of static, you didn't hear anything. Now, that'd be pretty cruel, actually. Though there are some that people, and bless them, because you could really tell in these, Jeremy, that people are so hungry to hear from their loved ones, and it's actually kind of sad sometimes, because you'll hear stuff coming through the box, and you'll get people in the comments saying, "Oh my gosh, that's for me. They said my name. They said this." And I do say occasionally, if it's the kind of repeat offenders, I'm going to be like, no, they didn't say your name, because it's always, there's always that sector who want it so bad that they are, I do not believe they're hearing it, and they're kind of, they're kind of like, I guess, positioned to only think anything coming through is for them. And that's fine, but it also kind of takes everything else off track, what I'm trying to do. Because if I'm working with somebody who asked for their, uncle, Frank, to come through, and I'm getting some responses, and someone else who's not even part of it saying, "Oh, that's for me," it's, that doesn't match up. And I mean, is it possible? Yes, but I don't think so, because these are the people every single time doing that. Like, everything that comes through is for them. So that's something I have to kind of watch out for as well.
I remember a couple of occasions where you kind of had to call out certain people on the show.
Yeah, yeah. It gets to the point that it's just like, and some people forget that this is, none of us here, you're not getting paid tonight for this, to do these shows every week. I mean, maybe you are to some extent, I don't know, but you're probably not, getting a ton. When I'm doing the spirit box stuff, I'm not getting any money, and people forget that. People forget that we're giving our time because we want to do this, and you get people who can be pushy about it as well. And
People get a sense of entitlement after a
yeah,
while.
they really do. They really do. And I just remember one who's still like watches some of my stuff occasionally. The first time I ever met this person, they came on to a live that I was running for a psychic medium I used to know, and they asked for a reading, and she gave them a reading. But that during the time she gave the reading, that person stepped away. They came back, and at the end of the show, they're just like, well, you couldn't even give me a reading, and they gave this psychic medium the riot act and stuff. And I remember the name, and I said, no, hold on, she did it like 20 minutes ago, and just because you weren't there to hear it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. And secondly, that even if she didn't read you, it doesn't mean she has to. There's literally 100 people coming through with requests for readings on these things. It's ridiculous, that. And this woman who made the big fuss, she kind of made a fool of herself, and
She's
she never
hanging
never
around.
really apologized. Yeah.
Um, Back to Ghost Stories and Beyond. Has it always been held at Billy's Bar?
It's been always held at Billy's Bar, even back when Shar was doing it without me, back early on originally. And what's great about Billy's is, first of all, it's haunted. It's a well-known haunted place. It's actually it was an old hotel, and so the main level and the basement. There's a little room in the basement. That's where we do our ghost stories um, every first Wednesday. What's also really interesting about it too is, like, we've had occasional paranormal activity when we're retelling the stories there as well, which is, I was like, okay, well, that's how it should be. And I would love to do an investigation of the whole place, but the upper floors are in quite disarray. And they don't allow public up there. I've been up there once. Shar had the opportunity, or she had the pleasure, I should say, of investigating this place, which they had an incredible experience there. But yeah, I mean, Anoka itself, the small town of Anoka, part of the Twin Cities, it's called the Halloween capital of the world. So every place around here is just, it's old, it's beautiful. Old, we're talking 1860s to 1880s, and it's such a wonderful place, good energy. And so yeah, we've always done it there.
Well, I'm looking at a picture of Billy's. I googled Billy's Bar on the Google Maps, and wow, that's a good sized building.
It's a really good sized building, and when you think about it, only probably a third of it's being used. Um, and then, but it's, they have a restaurant, they have a bar, and we do a pretty good job of filling up the basement when we do ghost stories. Once in a while, it's a little under, and especially summer months can be a little underwhelming, but that's to be expected. We are considering doing other locations as well, just so that we could spread out a little bit, or trying different approaches to ghost stories, just to kind of give people something a little bit different as well. And we're thinking about that, but nothing has been figured out about that. But yeah, no, this is it's such a great place, and the people who bring down the drinks and the food, the waiters, waitresses, all that, servers, are just so wonderful, and they're all into it. And those poor people have to go down this staircase to get to us. I mean, it's just like backbreaking, but they do it, and they do it well, and they're very attentive. It's Yeah, I look forward to these Wednesdays very much. Great people that come in as well.
Okay, I am going to put a link for Billy's Bar in the comments because we have Tina asking where it's at. It is in Anoka, Minnesota, which is just northwest of Minneapolis.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if Tina is interested in knowing when we do ghost stories, but Billy's does not advertise ghost stories. And so either follow Charvinity or follow Ghostbox Radio. We litter we litter Facebook with all of our posts about it. You won't be able to miss it.
You ever get hit with your spamming?
No, I only do for it. I only do like once a week for those. But I mean, to me, that's a lot. You know, to me, it's like my gosh, you know. So, but like I
Well,
said, you know, everything else we have going on, we keep doing social media stuff for. So yeah, I mean, it becomes a lot overall.
so the next question that I have is you were talking about you do a pretty good job of filling it out, but sometimes you're a little under. On average, about how many people do you get to attend these events?
Anywhere between 15 and 30. You know, and I think we figured out that the room holds about 30 comfortably. Sometimes, depending on the subject, we might have to bring out a couple more tables. For I mean, when we had so we had we did one with Dave Schrader because he's in Minnesota. He came on, that was obviously filled to capacity. Then we did one with Andra Sakalka, who is the line producer for Haunted Discoveries. She lives not too far from me, so you know when she came out, that was filled up. When I do live spirit box sessions occasionally for ghost stories, and that fills up pretty well too. Last Wednesday filled up pretty well. I mean, it just, and I think we're getting better at promoting it earlier, and I think that's the big thing about it. We're going to have a guy named Johnny Vortex on in March. He creates paranormal equipment. He's local. He's a great guy. So we just keep trying to think of different angles to bring guests in so that it's something unique for people, especially because you got to think about it this way too, Jeremy. There are people who are part of the paranormal field that come out to these, but generally these are people who are paranormal enthusiasts. So they're not necessarily part of like our community of you know what we do like right now. So it's like you try to think of different types of people that they would not have heard of, or different sort of concepts that might be different for them, and bring that out for them to maybe learn a little something about.
And it appears that you keep it very affordable, only $10 a person.
Only $10 a person. Though I did say on Wednesday I saw new people there. I said normally when there's new people we do a special $30 per person for new people, but they snuck by with 10. So I guess you know maybe next time I'll let them know earlier next time. But yeah, no, and that's the cool thing about, you get people that you've never seen before, and that's the great thing about it is, you know, are they learning about it through the Facebook ads? Are they learning about it through the radio show? I don't know. I don't care. I'm just happy that we're getting new people interested in coming out, because we think that it's a good experience for everybody, and everyone learns, including Shar and myself.
Now, do you cap it at 30 when you sell these tickets to, like, I don't know how you sell them, Eventbrite or
No,
whatever?
no. We it just come down and pay when you come in. You can do cash, you can do Venmo or whatever. But the thing is like the only time we did tickets early was when it was Dave Schrader, because we put a cap on that because we knew that that was going to be something different. But when anything else, we just we really don't think we're going to get over 35 at the most, and that's where we kind of capped at. So we're just kind of like going with what we think it is, and you know we've never had to turn anyone away or anything. So we're, you know, I don't think we have to worry about, you know, bursting out of the seams of Billy's. Let's put it that way. Would love to.
And, and how long do these events last? I'm looking at the one where it says it started at 6:30.
Oh, just about 6 hours. No, it's 2 hours. You know, and like it was just under 2 hours on Wednesday, but normally we try to get to about 8:30 or so. You know, and try to get questions in and stuff like that. And it's always nice if we can leave on a high note, like people are still wanting to talk about it, but we can kind of cut it off at 2 hours because, you know, there's a fatigue. I need to get back and do my show. And it just seems like a nice way to get so that people who are coming from wherever they're coming from can get back home at a reasonable hour. It's a Wednesday night, and it just seems like a good, just the right chunk of time.
And I also see on here where it says Parafriends Events. Um, is that a completely separate entity from Ghost Stories, or is it like a parent company sort of thing?
Pair of Friends is the company that I started back in 2017 for Ghost Box events, and so we've been doing events around the Twin Cities and Minnesota for since then, all over different locations and stuff. So some years there's more, some years there's less. So it's kind of the event arm of Ghostbox, but it's also separate from like Charvinity, which is Char's thing, and we all kind of get together and we do our thing. So yeah, it's just been something because it's I want to keep that in people's conscious. If they see pair of friends, they know that it's going to be a good paranormal event. We've had some really good responses to what we've done. I mean, most of our events when we do it, especially at haunted hotels over weekends and stuff, we'll get about 65 to 70 people coming out for them, and that's it's a good amount. It's a good amount of people, and we try to give them a great time.
I definitely like this. One of these months, I would like to come up just to check out the bar. I've always enjoyed um, going into haunted locations, just much older buildings. And you say that this one here used to be a hotel. Uh,
Yeah.
what else did it used to be?
I am not 100% sure. I know that the hotel was a big, big part of it. And it had been around for a while. I mean, and you walk down the street and there's all these other old buildings and there are banks and other things. And then for a while, Shar had an office across the street that is in a newer building, but yet that was ridiculously haunted as well, where we'd be there after class because we'd do the classes there, and you could hear doors open and shut all around us, and people walking around, and we were the only ones in the building. This is the sort of thing that Anoka has. Anoka has tunnels. It's just this really rich sort of chemistry of all things paranormal, and they don't really do the paranormal aspect more than the Halloween aspect, but it's there, and we're hoping to be able to tap into a little bit more of that. That's why we're excited about Divine Lights, because doing the investigation there on the second Thursday, because there is no better place to do an investigation in Anoka, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, just the Halloween aspect alone makes me want to come up there because that's my favorite time of year.
Yeah, no, no.
I can imagine this street is probably real busy on Fridays and Saturdays because there's like two or three bars across the street from it.
It is. They sometimes during the summer they're going to block off half the street so that people can walk around with their drinks and stuff, and that there's seating on the road and stuff. Well, I mean, there are barricades and stuff. So
I'm looking at right now, actually.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, Jeremy, if you come on up over, you got to come up over Halloween. We'll take you to the Pillsbury Club in Minneapolis as well, the haunted mansion that we did our ghost box episode from on Halloween. It's off the hook haunted, and take you there, take you over to Noka, and yeah, I think you'd have a lot of fun.
Okay, yeah, I will definitely keep that in mind. After your little tension goes down, um, after that mess is all settled.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Greg, we are coming up on an hour. So glad to have you come on here and talk about this because I've been very curious about these series and wanted to learn a little more. I never realized until earlier this week that it was held in the basement. Does the basement cover the whole length of the building or just a small section?
I think the basement does cover the whole length of the building, but the area where we are is cordoned off with walls and stuff just for a small amount, just like a little meeting area that fits like 35 or stuff. But then there are other doors that are around that we just don't have access to. That takes you to different parts in the basement of Billy's.
Okay. And you mentioned tunnels that Anoka has. Are there any tunnels that go to those basements?
I'm sure at one time whether or not that the people are a little cagey about how far the tunnels go. That's always been something. Maybe it's a Minnesota thing where no one wants to talk about the tunnels. Like there's tunnels under downtown Minneapolis. No one talks about them. But I know that I know where some of the tunnels are. I don't know where they all are, nor do I know where they connect. And normally when you ask people, they're like, "Yeah, I don't really know." You know, you're just not telling me.
Well, the one thing that I'd be worried it would be the stability of them. How
Yeah.
stable they are. What's the possibility of cave in? Because I know that old tunnels, even caves, can cave in on you.
Yeah, no, there's certainly some of that. I've been down in some areas and parts of Anoka that it's just part of the building, and those are fine. I've been in a couple in downtown Minneapolis, which are fine, but there's no doubt. There's probably at least in Minneapolis, there's probably areas, especially that like you just talked about, that are just areas that you can't get into, for those reasons.
Okay, Greg, I will finish this interview with a question that I have been asking everybody else this season that's come on to the show. Um, because I like to end the show on a nice positive note. At this moment in time, as you sit in your chair, what are three things, Greg, that you are grateful for?
I am grateful for the people who are my friends. I am grateful for Shar, who's always been very good to me as a good partner, a good friend. I am grateful for actually for AM 950, who my show is on, who has been nothing but supportive, and in times of even when they kind of were, I felt like they weren't treating me well, but in fact that they were, and they always stuck with me and always listen to, at least give what I want a thought, and I'm very grateful for that.
Well, they definitely have a lot of faith in you to put them on their actual radio air
Yeah.
nice a week.
Yeah, they do. They haven't learned yet. But
Well, if everything all works out, they never will learn.
hey, we're looking at other markets this year, hopefully. So hopefully that turns out. I'd love that.
No, good luck on that.
Thank you.
Good luck on that. All right, everybody out there in the audience, thank you so much for playing along and for joining us tonight to speak with Greg and Ghost Stories and Beyond. It's been a fun episode. Next week is Friday the 13th. I am planning on having a whole bunch of people on for the Friday 13th episode. We will be talking about the film series.
Hmm.
Um, and it had been brought to my attention that we still have not covered the TV series. So I'm thinking, depending on how things go, on the next Friday the 13th, we'll cover that. Because that because I really love that series. Oh, Tom is asking if you're going to OCR.
I'd love to, but at the moment, cash is invisible to me. So once it becomes a little bit more visible, I'd love to, and I'd love to see Tom again. It's been way too long. So I hope you're well, Tom.
He actually announced last night that he's doing very well.
I'm happy to hear that.
There was a medical scare apparently, and everything came out negative.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Tom
So
is good people. So yeah.
Oh, he's fun. The way that he tortures Nick and with his facial expressions, especially on the roller coaster. That's probably my favorite there because Nick is scared as all get out, and he's like, "Hey!" All right, great. Thank you so much for being on the show. Always great to have you on here, and definitely, I'll try not to make it 4 years before I get you back on here next time.
No problem.
All right, everybody. I know that we had just gotten a lot of snow again this week. So, for those of you that have been affected, be safe out there, stay warm, stay off the road whenever possible. Um, but until next week on Friday the 13th, we'll check in with you guys later. Have a good night and have a good weekend. See you later, Greg.